Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel. In some of my recent deliveries, I got in my copy of Red Dust Rebellion from GMT Games. This is actually the first coin game I've ever owned, coin standing for counterinsurgency. And what caught my eye with this one mostly was the theme, because I really like my sci-fi games, so this one finally got my attention for the coin series. Anyway, in this video we're going to crack it open and see what's in here. First up, as usual, let's take a look at the back. We are the sons and daughters of Mars. We were born in the red dust. We say no more to Earther rule. Aroha Thompson, Red Dust spokesperson and mining union rep. It is 2250 and the bicentennial celebrations of the first human colony on Mars are about to begin. In Red Dust Rebellion, up to 4 players control factions seeking to determine the fate of Mars. The Mars government, the Earth-based corporations, the Red Dust movement, and the Church of the Reclaimer. Each faction uses its forces and a unique set of abilities to influence spaces on the map. Moreover, each faction is working towards a unique victory goal. The Mars government wants to create a stable government that remains loyal to Earth while also enjoying the support of the people on Mars. The corporations want to turn Mars into a place fit to work so they can take that profit to the bank for their investors back on Earth. The Red Dust want to form their own government for Martians, by Martians, without Earth interference. And the Reclaimers want to keep Mars out of the hands of those who would change it, instead adapting humanity to be truly Martian. Red Dust Rebellion is volume 12 of the coin series of games that use similar rules to cover modern and historical insurgencies. A deck of cards regulates turn order, events, victory checks, and other processes. Each turn, a new card is played from the event deck. This card determines which 2 factions will play this turn, and the order in which those factions will play. Each faction must make a choice. Make use of the card event, or forego the event in order to choose from a unique menu of operations and special activities. The choices of one faction influence the others, as a new card is drawn and play continues. Periodically, a Dust Storm card interrupts play, affording the factions a moment's pause to regroup and prepare for the next round. In the end, the faction that most exceeds its goal is the winner. And down here at the bottom, we see ages 14 plus, players 1 to 4, which includes a full solitaire system. Game scale area movement is 1 Earth month per event card. Complexity is middle of the road at a 5. Solitaire suitability nice and high at a 9. Hopefully this will make a good intro point for me in the coin series. As I've mentioned, this is my first coin game that I've ever owned. So let's crack this open and see what's in here. As usual, we'll start by getting the shrink wrap off the box. And close the knife carefully. There's our first look at our shrink wrapless box. So now we'll crack it open and see what's in here. There we are. We've got our oh boy. So we've got a playbook in here, a rule book, and a rules and reference booklet. Joy. Curiosity card-based non-player, so probably for the AI, I would think. Well, we'll give each of these a quick thumb through. I'm not going to thumb through all 3 of them. Then we've got available forces for Church of the Reclaimer, along with setup on how everything starts, and some strategy tips. Then we've got the Red Dust movement, okay, and how are they set up in their strategy? The corporations and their setup and strategy. The Martian government. And the Earth government. And their strategy and tips. So it looks like we've got 5 factions in here. Flashpoint round. Okay. Only 2 copies of that, which is kind of annoying. And then how a dust storm round works. This is likely exactly the same thing. Yep. Dust storm round instructions, curiosity. And flashpoint round instructions, more of that. Event instructions. This might be related to the bot, but we'll find that out soon enough. Doesn't seem like it, though. Looks like player aids for all of the factions, which is a bifold document from the looks of it. Okay, references for each faction and the Martian government. Yep, looks like we've got 4 copies of that in here. And a non-player aid. Okay. And then campaign effects. Looks like we've only got 2 sheets of counters, so that's not terrible. There's sheet 1. And we'll flip that. Sheet 2. And we'll flip that as well. Get that out of my way. Oops, I put that down on top of my camera's battery. The board, which that's a typical GMT board, so we'll put that off to the side. We've got bags for days. Looks like we've got 2 different sizes of cards. So these are all normal size. They're all shrink wrapped, and as usual, I'm not going to poke these. Looks like we've got these are probably the game cards looking at the back. Then we've got what are probably asset cards. And campaign cards, most likely. As usual, I'm not going to puncture the cards until I'm ready to deal with them. Not sure what these cards are. I suspect the rulebook will tell us soon enough. Then we've got all kinds of tokens and dice. This insert is coming straight out because I don't usually keep inserts for very long in these boxes. We'll bring everything out of the way for a second so I can put the board down and lay that completely out. I'm just moving everything out of the way so I can lay the board out. Board is not double-sided. So we can see that there as I'm getting ready to lay the board out. Typical GMT board from the looks of it. I suspect I'm going to back up to get the whole thing in shot. Yeah. Even Cthulhu's looking at me like, buddy. Even Cthulhu's... We'll move Cthulhu out of the way just a second there. Move that back so we can get the board in shot. And I am going to have to try to flatten that out before we get near the game with this one. Or before this one gets near the table. Okay, everything looks good there. A little bit of a glare, I think, from this side, but really can't be helped, I don't think. The board's a little bit glossy, but not terrible, at least to some of the corners of the board. Overflow here is probably fine for a little bit of glare to be there. But down here might be a little bit more bothersome. Not too bad from a glance, though. Anyway, we'll put this away. and then we'll take a quick cursory glance at the books to see to kind of give them our quick thumb through. It's a little worrisome that there are 3 books in here, which, I mean, that might be good for me as somebody who's new to the coin series. Let's take a look at the rule book first. I'm not going to... Normally I thumb through the rule book, but A, there's 3 in here, and B, they all feel like they're fairly thick. So... we got a list of the components, but unfortunately, looks like we got a spare of each wooden piece also included, so that's good to know. Let's see, this is the intro book. I wish I could tell you which type of card was which size card was which. What did I do with what I think are the tarot size? Oh, here we are. Okay, so these look like they're the non-player curiosity cards, which I think are tarot size. Let me see if I've got a set of tarot. I should have a set of tarot sleeves around here somewhere. Actually, I've got a few different sizes of sleeves that are a little bit bigger than normal. And yeah, looking at them, they'll fit in tarot sleeves. So that's good to know when I'm ready to start sleeving this game. This rulebook comes in at 47 pages. So we'll give this a quick... We'll actually go ahead and give this at least a thumb through. Okay. So it looks like you have to play with... Do you have to play with all 4 factions? I would think not, because for a solo player, that would be a lot to manage. We've got the map key here. So good that there's a way to explain what each section of the map is for. So there should be a reference for all of that. Game board. Forces and satellites. Resources and profits and asset and campaign cards. Trading resources and asset cards. So it looks like it's got somewhat of a political element to it, which I've always been very hesitant with politics of any kind in these games. And I think some of that is just that I'm very much going into very much an antisocial place with my tabletop gaming, especially with as much as I've been stepping into solo RPGs of late. Then we've got all the setup. Hopefully this won't be completely ridiculous to set up. No, just seems like it's the 2 pages there. Sequence of play with the event rounds. Flashpoint rounds. So so it looks like there's a track that we're going to trigger a flashpoint round with a lightning bolt. Okay. How operations work. Let me zoom in on this just a touch. There we go. Just adjusting the zoom. Okay. Special activities coming in. Explanation about corporation. Well, looks like faction-specific stuff. So far, everything looks good on this copy, Jester. I'm not going to obviously inventory absolutely everything in terms of opening up the component bags and be like, okay, it says I'm supposed to have this, so let's count it out. I'm not going to do that. This is just a cursory 10,000-foot view. All of the event cards, along with a map of Mars, key terms index, and probably a page number where everything's explained. And looks like another board reference. Where was the track on here? There's something about a track. Oh, here it is. Flashpoint track. Let me see if I can pull this up so you can see that. So that should be the lightning bolt symbol that the rules were warning about in terms of when we hit a flashpoint round. Yep, flashpoint round in 4.2. Okay. No, I have not played a coin game yet. This will be my very first coin game that I've ever played. I've heard a lot about this series, but I've always been hesitant with it, with all of the other stuff that I've been looking at. So we've got the Red Dust Rebellion playbook. I wonder if this is going to end up just being a lore book. Oh no, it looks like it's a tutorial book. So that's actually very convenient. So this will be probably something that I lean on as I'm starting to dig into this game. We're not going to give this whole thing a thumb through because I want to kind of protect from spoilers on that. This may come to the channel at some point. I was hoping there'd be a length of time on how long this would take to play. Nothing I can see here, which is a little annoying. So if I'm going to stream a learning game of this, I want a rough idea of about how long it should take. So say it's like 1 to 2 hours, and I figure for learning, add like another hour to that. So yeah, we'll go through. If we want to play one of them, let you know when we can hook up to a play and teach like we used to do. I know we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit. I've got between getting that way I have a better idea about the game going into it. That's not a terrible idea, and I may try to take you up on that on a weekend in November. I do have a list of things that I want to get to in November. So I'll try to find some time, and we'll touch base. And we'll try to hook up and play a coin game. But let me see how things kind of unfold going into November. But I think that will do it for this cursory unboxing. So we can zoom everything back out here. Get everything back in the box. Hopefully making everything fit nice and easily. 2 to 3 hour game or more if I plan on running the solo AI bots. So that probably means November is not going to be a time I'm going to want to get this out to the channel. Maybe we'll come back to this in December when I'm in the middle of the advent of the Phoenix and I'm off for the entire month. But we'll see what I think as the schedule, as everything starts to unfold for December. Okay, good. And that's everything in the dust, everything in the box for Red Dust Rebellion. As soon as I drop off the line here, I'm going to be setting up tomorrow's Super Bowl 7 in my 1972 NFL season replay in Momentum Football. As the NFC champion Dallas Cowboys are going to be in Los Angeles taking on the AFC champion Oakland Raiders at LA Memorial Coliseum. Wednesday, we're going to play game number 9 on my TAC-UP Wargaming list as we play Tally Ho from Historic Wings. Saturday next week, we'll be in a new cookbook on mystical munchies, but we'll have more on that during Thursday's episode of Pinot with Phoenix for October 2024. As for next week, we're going to have a new game debut on the channel as we play This War of Mine. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.